Welcome to Mother of Mammals podcast with your host, Bria. I'm sitting here thinking, who else had major relationship issues after the birth of a child? Because I seem to talk to more and more birthing people who have got similar stories to tell. How that postpartum period, they just didn't get on with their partners. I've birthed two children, one within the medicalised system and the other one out of it. And they couldn't be more worlds apart. We live in a time where the majority of births are unnecessarily interfered with. And this causes a whole heap of problems. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the statistics are, but I can tell you they are extremely high. To get a real idea of the statistics of medicalised births, you just need to talk to people within your community who have either birthed or witnessed someone birthing. I see a huge difference in people's relationships after birth, depending on who they birth. I'm seeing people who have had medicalised births, having big relationship problems, and people who have had births that are uninterfered with, witness seem to grow stronger after birth. In our family, we just sat with unspoken issues until the preparation for my second child, and there's a 7-year age gap between them. So there's quite a lot of time to have these things just hovering around the air that just wasn't dealt with. And it was within birth preparation that I realized part of that was dealing with the trauma that both me and my birth partner, who also happens to be the father of my children, how this medicalised birth affected both of us. So today, I'm going to concentrate on how it affects the person who witnesses you giving birth from only my own experience. My partner has grown up in nature. He understands it. I remember sitting watching a program in the UK with him. It was some sort of farming program around springtime where a lot of animals were being born. And he just could not believe that this human would go and touch this, I think it was little lamb that had just been born. And he was saying to me, they've put their scent on it. The mother may reject it, but you really shouldn't do that. He has a very good understanding about how nature works. But the medicalised system where I birthed in the UK within the NHS is so good at working on you to take away every part of confidence that you have. They'll claim they do the opposite, but in fact, they were the worst thing that could have happened to my birth. I sailed through pregnancy with a very supportive partner. He would help where he needed to help, and he would give me space where I needed to have space. I have absolutely no complaints. I feel they started working on him right at the end of pregnancy. And I say him because the podcast is about the partners. They also started working on me at the same time, but this one isn't about me. We went for a routine 40-week checkup at the midwives, where at this checkup, I said to the midwife, I think the baby's coming. It's coming slowly, but it's coming. I'm feeling the changes. I'm discussing my first birth, but after having my second birth, I've got the two to compare, and I know how my body works and how it feels. I know for some people, birth can be completely different each time it occurs, but for me, up until the point that it was interfered with, there were a lot of similarities. So I can say, having birthed a second child, that this was the start of the baby coming. In front of my partner, the midwife's response was, don't be stupid. If the baby was coming, you'd know about it. And I thought, well, I do know about it. And I have said the baby's coming. But there's a certain way of speaking. They have the authority. They're telling you, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So you put yourself in their hands. The midwife then said to us both, well, if you want to speed things along, you could try having sex. My response to that was, no, I'm not interested in that. She then completely disregarded me and turned to my partner and said, well, why don't you want to? Is it because you think you'll hurt her? Is it because you think you'll hurt the baby? Which he kind of just shook his head and looked at me. We made eye contact and we both acknowledged that my feelings were not being taken into consideration. But these two tiny little comments that felt like nothing were planting little seeds in his mind. First of all, disregarding the fact that I know my body, I'm telling you what's happening within my body, and just being told I'm wrong, is putting it out there that I can't be trusted. I can't be trusted to do this. I am not the authority of our birth. The second little comment, which basically to me was suggesting to my partner that he had sex with me, even though I was saying I didn't want to, is very firmly setting you up for taking away your body autonomy. This is the key to a medicalised birth. They know, you don't. Therefore, you follow their lead and you let them do what they want to do with you. The midwife then said, but what we'll do is we'll give you a sweep. So go on the bed, jump up on the bed, and I'll come and give you a sweep. She then gave me a membrane sweep without explaining what it was and just explaining what she was doing as she was doing it. I think this was behind a curtain, so my partner was not seeing, but he was hearing the description of her sticking her fingers up my vagina without me fully understanding what she was doing to consent. As much as this was designed to mess me up, I think it's also very much designed to make my partner believe that I wasn't capable. I wasn't going to be able to do this without them. This would definitely not be birthing within my power. Still, I'm under the illusion that when the baby starts to come, then I can go up to what I would say is the hospital. They would call it a birthing centre, but it's in the hospital. Therefore, you're birthing in the hospital. So go to the hospital, request the birthing pool, have my baby using the birthing pool. Mother of Mammals podcast is sponsored by her sister company, Citizen of the World ABC. I've designed a set of beautifully illustrated alphabet cards. Here at Mother of Mammals and Citizen of the World ABC, I believe to have a true understanding of the world around us, we need to be seeing links. For example, to discuss climate change is to discuss xenophobia, capitalism, natives, propaganda, education, questioning, history, justice, activism, voting, war, diversity, trees, immigration, and so on. Purposely printed as cards so each subject can be placed side by side. These are thought-provoking alphabet cards suitable for all ages, so the levels of conversation can be age or stage appropriate. You can purchase a pack from Citizen of the World, abc.com. You'll find the details in the episode notes. A couple of nights later, what I would call at the time contractions, but now I would refer to as surges, were coming regularly. We found it was time to go to the hospital. We went, we got there, they sent me back home. I said to them, no, I've come at the time that I was meant to come. The contractions are so much apart, but now they've stopped. Once I'd prepared for my second birth, I fully understood why they stopped, but they were being very regular. I begged and begged and begged not to have to go home. Eventually, I was just told, I don't care where you go, but you're not staying here. You can go home, you can go where you want. You are not staying here. So we were told to come back once my waters are broken. So we made the journey home. We were there for about 45 minutes. The waters broke. We went back in. I was examined and I was told that I'm 10 centimeters dilated and ready to go. They prepared the birthing pool. We were there for hours. Not once was I given the opportunity to naturally push. It was just coach pushing. My partner is just witnessing someone's hand on my body and me being told, you don't push until I tell you to push. What he's witnessing is me being turned into something that is incapable of birthing this child without someone else telling me how to do it. The doctor came to check me out and said, we are going to deliver this baby with forceps. Given an epidural, which was everything that I said I did not want. But at this point, I'm being told the only way to get this child out is through forceps. Therefore, I need to do this. With my partner by my side, I laid on my back, completely numb, not feeling a thing apart from just a slight push and a tug. I was told, when we tell you, you push. I pushed. The baby was delivered. I handed the baby to his father whilst they pulled the placenta from me. Once it was all done, I put my arms out to take the baby back off him. This was a crucial turning point in our relationship. I asked for the baby, and he held him a little bit tighter. And he said, but you might drop him. He was worried that I would drop our baby. He said, but can you feel? All he knew was that I couldn't feel. I just looked at him dead in the eye and I said, give me my baby. A medical person in the room put her hand on his shoulders and said, oh, yes, she has the feeling in her arms. That moment could have well been the breaking point to our relationship. At the time, I just felt really angry towards him. The birth of our first child together, in my mind, was fueled with anger, along with all the happiness that you can get. But anger, I found out later on when we spoke about it, that from his point of view, what he had witnessed sounds atrocious. Because he watched our son being born by forceps. And what he said to me was the baby had the big clamp on its head. The doctor was holding the clamp with both hands, and he had one foot up on the bed, and he was pushing with his foot to get the strength in his arms to drag our baby out. I understood. This conversation was had a little while after our baby was born. The time of fresh postpartum, I did feel angry towards him. But also, once our child was birthed, I was wheeled into the recovery room, and I had no feeling in my body. So him questioning where my feeling was kind of makes sense. I couldn't stand up. I needed help. If I needed the child handed to me, I couldn't just pick him up. I needed help. My body was numb. We're not medical people. He didn't know where you could feel and where you can't. But the seeds that were planted in his head were that I can't trust my body. What I say is not the fact. It's these kind of things that they worked on him. And the witnessing of our birth sounded traumatic. We did, as a family, get in the swing of things. We enjoyed being a family of three. He's a very hands-on dad and allowing me to mother the child the way that I needed to mother the child. And he did most of the running around of other things. So I felt like it was okay in the end. After I'd been in the recovery ward for a night, I was then wheeled into the newborn ward, which was just hell. I had problems with one of the midwives who was getting really angry at me, and she was accusing me of not trying my hardest with the breastfeeding, not trying my hardest with producing what I need to produce to mother my child, to give my child the nutrients and to keep him alive. But I fully understand that my breastfeeding journey started off okay. I was producing what you produce for a newborn baby. This is my story, and we never used anything else but breast milk. But the amount of people that I speak to within my circle that were pushed to use formula because they were told that they're not producing, when it feels like these midwives don't know what is normal and what is not. And if your partner is going to witness this, is constantly drummed into their heads that you are not capable. You're not capable of taking care of your child the way that it needs to be taken care of. This is going to affect a relationship. It was 7 years later, when I was preparing to birth my second child, that I thought, there is no way that I am doing that again and everything that comes along with it. In the end, after a lot of thinking about how I could have a good birth, the only way that I felt that I could have a good birth was to step away from the system and free birth. My partner was not actually present at the time of me birthing my second child, but I can tell you that my whole attitude towards myself wasn't, this is difficult, you're taking away my confidence. It was that I am a fucking goddess and I'm living life like one. And I really do put that down to a birth that was uninterfered. Everything just kicked into place and slotted in the right place that it needed to be. The cocktail of hormones just worked tremendously. When preparing for my second birth, I knew that I was going to have a good birth, unless it was medically necessary. So I educated myself and put trust in my body. When really analysing how birth could be good, in the end, I came to the conclusion that just because someone was my life partner and also the second parent to the child doesn't mean that they're the best birth partner. It can just be two people going into a situation blindingly, and the medical system just looking to fuck you up. It's just not going to work out well. So I actually decided that he wouldn't be my birth partner for my second birth. He could be there to witness it. Time frames meant that he wasn't there to attend. But I thought, no, I need a birth partner who understands birth, who can support me in the way that I need to be supported. So in the end, I hired a doula. I think that's possibly one of the best amounts of money I have ever spent in my life. My youngest is 2.5 now, and every single day I reap the benefit of how life can be after a good birth. After having a good birth, it also brought up a lot of the trauma from the bad birth. I realized how pointless it was, how it harmed us, how it harmed me, how it harmed the baby, and also how it harmed my partner. Although I don't excuse his behavior, I can say I understand it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy this podcast, I'd really appreciate if you take a few moments to write a review and follow Mother of Mammals so that the episodes can keep coming directly to you. Thanks for listening.